Oh, happy Tuesday, my friends, and welcome back into another edition of Prime Sports World. Coming to you on Facebook, YouTube, and on the Huddle Sports Network on your Roku devices. Please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. On today's episode of the show, we're going to be breaking down week number 13 and previewing week number 14 in the National Football League. I'm, of course, your host, David On Point Huffman, and there's my co-host, Mr. T.J. Hopkins, and from the Daily Blitz.blog, our good friend and brother, Christian Simpson, also welcoming us onto the show. Happy Tuesday, my friends. How is everybody doing?
Doing good. And you?
I'm doing all right, man. I'm doing all right. You can't complain too much. Still on vacation, so I'm enjoying that for a couple more days.
I know who's not on vacation.
Yeah, TJ, I'm sorry. But yeah, without further ado, let's not waste any time. Let's get into a very entertaining Monday Night Football game down there at Mile High in Denver as the Denver Broncos hang up 41 points on the Cleveland Browns and win this game 41-32 as the Cleveland Browns just come up just short against the Denver Broncos in Mile High. What a fantastic performance by Jameis Winston, all things considered, even with the 2 pick sixes and the bad interception at the goal line when they were trying to possibly come back and try to get interesting in this game. But I think I read a stat with the pick sixes, he threw for like 668 yards in this game, which is the most amount of yards ever thrown by a quarterback in a single game in the history of the league. But anyways, 497 yards for Jameis Winston. He did throw 4 touchdowns and 3 interceptions, 2 of them pick sixes and both of them breaking pick sixes. Jerry Jeudy had a virtuoso performance, as Izzy likes to say, as he gets a little bit of revenge against his former team. 9 catches for 235 yards and a touchdown. Bo Nix was a little bit rocky, a little bit shaky in this game, but did just enough to win the game. 1 touchdown, 2 picks. Jalen McLaughlin, 14 for 84. Marvin Mims, 3 for 105, but 93 of those came in 1 touchdown, as he now has the longest touchdown of the season. Kudos to Marvin Mims.
Yeah, that was a dime. That was a dime from Bo Nix to Marvin Mims. Yeah, I know there was a bit of a, I don't even call it a kerfuffle. It was just a little back and forth between you and Izzy, David, about how to handle that situation. Either way, it was just too little, too late, too much to overcome.
So I know they would have needed the onside kick, and I know they had 2 timeouts, but let's not sit here and pretend like the Cleveland Browns are running the football with any kind of real gusto or merit. I mean, Nick Chubb, who's the leading rusher of this team, had 21 yards on 3 yards per carry. He was not getting it done in the running game. If they wanted to win this game, they're going to have to rely on the arm of Jameis Winston, period.
But at the same time, that's also kind of why you lost the game. It's you got too far away from your bread and butter. And
I mean, you got vintage Jameis Winston. He looks great. He puts up gaudy numbers, 497 yards passing, the highest passing performance of the league of the season so far. But you also couple that with 3 interceptions. 2 of them go back to the house the other way.
Yeah, and again, I don't care who your quarterback is. I don't want you throwing the ball 60 times. Because at no point, I don't think the game ever got to a point where they just had to be like, hey, we're going pass heavy from this point on.
No, I mean, this game was fairly close for majority of the way. I mean, this was a back and forth affair. It was 21-17 at halftime, and this is a game that was ripe for the taking for the Cleveland Browns. They just didn't come up with the plays.
They just didn't win. So at no point in time.
I mean, you normally would say, Jameis Winston throws for 497 yards, and their best receiver has 295 yards receiving. You think you win that game? You throw for damn near 500 yards. You think you win that game? But,
right. The most you were down was 11, and that was early in the third quarter. That was 28-17, and then you scored to make it 28-25. At no point in time were you ever really out of this game to basically
what was really perplexing, the fact that Nick Chubb went basically an entire quarter where he just didn't get touch. And they led to many of the speculation from the commentators, Joe Buck and Troy Aikman, even in the halftime conversation with Kevin Stefanski. Her name is escaping me right now, but she even asked him, is there anything up with Nick Chubb? He hasn't had a lot of touches. And they're like, no, he's fine. But it's very perplexing, like why you wouldn't have arguably your best offensive player on the field.
Just not touch the ball. You literally had 400 more yards passing than rushing. You didn't even eclipse 100 yards rushing, and you wonder why you lost this game outside of the turnovers. Like, no, you got too far away from what you want to do well, and you just. I'm not even going to sit here and say Denver took it away from you. You just didn't do it. You just didn't run the ball. And Bo Nix's rookie of the year case gets that much stronger. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I think he. Yeah, Christian.
Yeah, this is a good win for Denver, and I can see them being a tough out come playoff time. I'm not saying they're gonna advance, but they're young. They play with a sense of urgency. They're energetic, and as far as Cleveland did all they could to stay in this game, but. Yeah, Jameis is good to throw you one.
Yeah,
any given Sunday. Yes, he is.
He gonna give you one.
Yeah, he give you one.
I totally agree with you. But yeah, this is a good win for Denver as they continue to, kind of putting a stranglehold on that one of those final wild card spots in the AFC. We'll see how things unfold as they go down the stretch here. They do get to go into their bye week, the latest bye week of any of the NFL teams. So, hopefully that's going to be a good recipe for success for the Denver Broncos. Moving on, before we close up this chapter on week number 13, let's talk about our game balls, gentlemen. And TJ, I'll let you go first with your game ball.
I know he. I got two. I know he lost, but it's hard to deny Jerry Jeudy. 9 for 2. What do he have?
235 or 295? Something absurd.
Yeah, 9 for 235 and a touchdown on 13 targets. So that means, hey, if it was thrown his way, he had a good chance of catching it. And again, I know he in a losing effort, but Caleb Williams breaking the rookie franchise record for passing yards in a season, most passing attempts without an interception. And I want to say, I think next game he should break the franchise rookie record for touchdown passes in the season, but don't quote me on that last one. So those are my two.
I'm going to go to Buffalo, and I'm giving mine not to Josh Allen as you thought I was going to go. I'm going to go James Cook. 14 carries for 107 yards, 7.6 yards per clip. Also had a 65-yard touchdown to the house. James Cook gets my game ball. As much as I do enjoy the virtuoso performance by Josh Allen, he gets a lot of praise from me here at Prime Sports World. I'm going to share that little bit of love around in Buffalo. Christian.
His name is Russell. Last name Wilson.
That's a good
29 to 38, 414 yards passing, and 3 touchdowns. And a shootout win over the Cincinnati Bengals.
But yeah, as we close in this book on number 13, let's open up that chapter to number 14. And we start with Thursday night football, probably the best game on the docket for the weekend as the Green Bay Packers try to avenge an early loss in Lambeau earlier this season. Hold on, sorry.
We heard it.
Packers 9-3, the Detroit Lions 11-1. Obviously, Lions coming off of 7-game winning streak. The Packers, on the other hand, also have won 4 of the last 5 games. This should be an interesting Thursday night matchup. And Christian, I think I know what's coming.
David, let's go.
Yeah, let's go.
1, 2, 3.
Shameless plug number 1,
baby. No, I like what I've seen from Green Bay. You hear about the NFC, and you realize all 3 of their losses have come to the teams that are ahead of them in the NFC: Minnesota, Philadelphia, and who they're going to see on Thursday night, Detroit. Green Bay, they're physical. They're depending a little bit more on Josh Jacobs. You know, they're not putting the game in the hands of Jordan Love because there's more tape on him this year. He has not looked as sharp as he had last year. But again, you kind of expect that in the second year. But Green Bay's doing it on both sides of the ball. They're dominating the line of scrimmage. They're winning defensively. They're getting off the field. But the Lions, man, the Lions just find ways to win. I mean, Jared Goff threw 5 interceptions, a couple weeks ago, and they still found a way to win.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, didn't even look all that great against the Chicago Bears on Thanksgiving. But again, Matt Eberflus gift wrapped them that game. I previewed this. What'd you say, TJ?
Nah, I was agreeing with you.
Yeah,
we put it on a silver platter for the Detroit Lions.
Yeah, definitely. I previewed this one on Thursday, an hour before the game. Be on the lookout.
TJ.
I'm gonna go with Detroit. I know that Packers fans, namely Izzy, was upset that Amon-Ra had that little headstand celebration in the end zone. You don't like it? Don't let him score. It's that simple. To Christian's point about relying more on Josh Jacobs, yeah, that's fine and dandy, but at the same time, you gave Jordan Love the bag, which is why they tend to go away from that at the worst opportune time. Like, this seems like a game they would try to do that, whereas like, I'm going to show you that Jordan Love is the best quarterback in this division and and all that other good stuff. I just don't think Green Bay has enough to beat Detroit. I don't see it. If you take away the run game from Detroit, which good luck, they got the receivers on the outside to beat your DBs. If the passing game is not there, good luck. They have a two-headed monster at running back, and I trust their running backs a little more than Green Bay's running backs. And Josh Jacobs is nice, but outside of Josh Jacobs, do you really trust the other guys to run the ball consistently? I don't. Give me Detroit, especially at home.
So Romeo Doubs still in concussion protocol. Jair Alexander still questionable in this game against the Detroit Lions. If they don't have Alexander, I think this might be curtains for the Green Bay Packers. I just don't think they have enough on defense to really hang with this Detroit Lions offense. I will also take the Lions, but I wouldn't be surprised if this game was interesting. If this game went down to the wire,
I'm not saying it's not going to be interesting. Again, we didn't expect the Bears to make that one interesting, but they did. And it's what y'all said was what we say all the time. Divisional matchups, just for whatever reason, no matter what the difference is in the teams, give or take a year or two, they are always tight. They always close. And yeah, I'm expecting nothing less from these two.
From there now, let's swing from Thursday night football to Sunday afternoon, and let's start first at Nissan Stadium, where the Jacksonville Jaguars are rolling into town. I have no idea what the status is of Trevor Lawrence. If I was the Jacksonville Jaguars, I would probably not play him again this season. Just for a fun little fact, how much do you think tickets to this game cost right now? If you wanted to, like, the lowest cost of a ticket, if you wanted to go to this game,
$350.
Not quite $350. $11 if you want to go see the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Tennessee Titans lock horns inside Nissan Stadium. Christian, how do you think this game shakes out?
I like Tennessee. I know they got blown out in Maryland the other day, but they did show a little bit of fight. I'll give them that much. Yeah, Jacksonville's just not a good football team, and I'm surprised Dougie Peterson still has his job. What time is it right now, David? Central Standard Time?
Eastern Standard Time.
He's
yeah.
Right.
9:17 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here in Fort Wayne, Indiana.
And Doug Peterson still has his job. Yeah, I'm definitely taking the Titans. They're the better team. This is like picking between a lesser of two evils.
I'm also taking the Tennessee Titans.
So is TJ. Next game.
This is sneaky good defense for the Tennessee Titans so far. Obviously, they weren't as good against the Commanders, but they have had pretty good runs so far this season. And Will Levis actually has played pretty well the last few weeks. He's limited those turnovers for whatever it's worth.
Yeah, he has. Yeah, I don't know who's quarterbacking for
It's gonna
the
be Mac.
Jags. I like not to be fair, not like to be honest, like not that it really matters. Who's quarterbacking for the Jags apparently, but it's if it's Trevor Lawrence, they suck. If it's Mac Jones, they suck just a little bit more. Yeah, Will Levis out. You take away the crappy turnovers, and that's exactly what they are. They're just not. They just weren't. It's not just the fact that they were turnovers. They were horrible turnovers,
Back breaking turnovers.
back breaking turnovers, and it's almost like it's what are you doing turnovers. Yeah, give me the Titans. I think the Titans should. I don't even think Will Levis should have to really do a lot. Like I think
Well,
Tony.
I think Tony Pollard is gonna have a big game.
Yeah, I think Tony Pollard is gonna have a. They're gonna ride the back of Tony Pollard to the W.
From there, we're going to stay in the AFC, but we're going to swing into the AFC East as we got the New York Football Jets going into South Beach, taking on the Miami Dolphins. Miami, both these teams are coming off taking an L to the Seattle Seahawks and Green Bay Packers, respectively. There is some conversation about potentially Aaron Rodgers not starting another game this season. I don't know how true that actually is. But the Dolphins need to have this game in order to keep their playoff hopes so high, as slim as they are after that loss to Green Bay. TJ, how do you see this one shaking out?
Miami, I don't care. Like the Jets, again, I said it yesterday. The Jets, your record was better when you had Zach Wilson. That should tell you everything you need to know about this season.
I'm also going to take the Miami Dolphins. If I was the Jets, I would probably shut down Aaron Rodgers for the remainder of the season. I do not think that's what they'll do. I think they'll continue rolling Aaron Rodgers out there. I have no idea what the future holds for the Jets team at all. So give me Dolphins. Christian.
Next game.
From there, we're gonna swing into wherever the Minnesota Vikings play, whatever that stadium's called, that beautiful U.S. Bank Stadium there in Minnesota, the home of the Vikings, as they welcome in the struggling Atlanta Falcons, who have lost 3 in a row. Minnesota has been absolutely pushed to the brink in the last 3 weeks. 4 weeks, really, if you want to talk about that Jacksonville Jaguar game before that. Last time these two teams played was last year, 11/05/2023. Christian, do you remember who won that game last year between the Atlanta Falcons and the Minnesota Vikings?
Wasn't it Atlanta?
Correct. No. Minnesota won that game 31-28.
Oh, that's right. That was the Josh Dobbs game.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah, he brought the game-winning touchdown. He threw the touchdown pass to Brandon Powell. 9-yard passing touchdown from Josh Dobbs after Tyler Algier ran it in for a 5-yard touchdown to take the lead 28-24. Josh Dobbs, the Pastronaut, responds with the game-winning touchdown of his own, basically at the horn. TJ, how do you think this version shakes out?
I'm still riding with Minnesota. Like they're doing what you want a supposed contending team to do. Win ugly. Every win ain't gonna be pretty. Every win ain't gonna be a blowout. They've been winning ugly. That Cardinals game was an ugly win. That Jags game was an ugly win. That Bears game was an ugly win. And they just keep finding ways to do it. Sam Darnold has literally resurged his career. Shout out to Kevin O'Connell for doing that. And I just don't like what I'm seeing from Atlanta. I just don't like it. Like I still don't know the status. I ain't gonna say status of Kirk Cousins, but like the benching of Kirk Cousins, I don't see that happening. At least I don't want it to happen. But yeah, give me Minnesota.
Yeah, I'm also going to take them. You know what? I have to roll with the Atlanta Falcons. I will take Atlanta to win the game in a mini upset, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see, because I know, if you're Kirk Cousins, you want to get up for this game. This is you want to go into U.S. Bank Stadium, your old place where you used to play and play pretty well. You want to put in a good outing. You want to play well, and you want to beat the Minnesota Vikings. And as Christian talks about all the time on this show, you don't really trust Minnesota. Like they just kind of squeak by on occasions. I will take I will take Atlanta, but the fact that they can't generate a pass rush is a major concern for the Atlanta Falcons, especially going into whatever is going to be down the stretch for this team as they continue to kind of throw away games and throw away a big lead in the NFC South. Give me Atlanta.
Hey, Christian, we need to find somebody in our life that loves us the way David loves the Atlanta Falcons. Like we need that.
No,
Like
I'm good because she might let me down and blow it, just like the Falcons have. I like Minnesota in this one, just due to the simple fact of what David brought up. Atlanta has a tough time generating a pass rush, and if you're going to let Sam Darnold just sit back in the pocket and nickel you and dime you all game long, you're going to be in for a rude awakening.
Yeah. From there, we go to MetLife Stadium, the home of Christian's New York Football Giants, as they welcome in the Saints from down in the Bayou. Both these teams are coming off kind of bad losses in week. I guess the Saints were kind of in that game a little bit against the Rams, but the Giants got basically slobber-knocked by the Dallas Cowboys. Last time these two teams played was actually last season, almost to the date, where the New Orleans Saints won that game 24-6 en route to moving to 7-7. Taysom Hill, Derek Carr threw for 218 yards and 3 touchdowns. Christian, what do you think happens here? Tommy DeVito got the start actually for the Giants in this game.
Yeah, I like the Saints. Just don't like what I'm seeing from the Giants, and that's just me being completely blunt here. The Saints should. I think this is going to be one of those ugly games where the Saints will muck it up. A lot of Alvin Kamara and Marquez Valdez-Scantling. He's really seemed to find himself within this offense. And the Giants are just lost right now. I know TJ the other day asked me, would it be smart to fire Brian Daboll? And I don't think it would. Let him develop his own quarterback. Let him build this team the way he wants to. I just think the front office has really stepped in the way of what it is that he wants to do as the head coach, but I think the Saints could win here.
I think you get into a mucky situation if you keep Brian Daboll and you bring in a new front office and you bring in a new quarterback. You would just run into the situation that the Bears have been in the last couple rotations. I think you got to clear the house if you're gonna clean the front office and you're gonna clean out the quarterback room. I think you got to go with a new head coach. But that's just me, TJ. The game. I'll take the Saints. Who cares? These teams both suck.
Yeah, I mean, like David, like you said that they're going to be like the Bears. They are like the Bears. They might be worse than the Bears. Like they dead ass. Like it's like they talk about it on First Take all the time. Like since that 2011, what was it? 2011, 10, 11. Since that Super Bowl, since that last Super Bowl, they've had like 8 or 9 coaches. They've had like 5 or 6 GMs. They've had just as many quarterbacks. They've been to the playoffs, twice?
Yeah. I mean, they did win that game against the Giants, and then they got blown out by the Packers.
They are the Giants.
Yeah, so.
So it's just bad all the way. So what difference does it make? Like, I know for a fact Joe Shane, however you pronounce his last name, he's gone. Daboll, like bare minimum, to Christian's point, Daboll might keep his job, but the GM's out.
I just don't believe you're going to bring in a new GM, and he's not going to want to have his own coach.
The only way Daboll gets gone is if I think Daboll just asks to be gone.
He's going to get fired. On Black Monday, Brian Daboll will be like one of the casualties. He for sure will be gone. The full front office will be fired, and then was it Joe Mara, whatever the guy's name is? He'll have to rebuild this from scratch. John Mara, yeah, he'll have to rebuild this from scratch. Fun fact: MVS actually, since being traded to being acquired by New Orleans, after being released by the Buffalo Bills, he's got 4 touchdowns in 4 weeks. That includes a 1-for-5 performance against the Carolina Panthers. So in 3 weeks, he's had 4 touchdowns, and I can't do math right now, but this is like 210 yards receiving in 3 weeks. That is some big-time numbers for a wide receiver for sure, as Christian pointed out. Moving on, staying in the AFC and staying with the NFC South versus the NFC East. We got the Carolina Panthers, who got beat by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last week, going into Lincoln Financial Field, the home of the Philadelphia Eagles, who are fresh off taking down the Baltimore Ravens in their house last Sunday. Last time these two teams played was 3 years ago. Christian, do you remember who won that game 3 years ago? Eagles
Philly won.
Panthers.
Philly won that game.
The Eagles did win that game 21-18. TJ, how do you think this version shakes out in 2024?
If this was like a month ago where the Eagles were playing terribly, I might have went ahead and picked the Panthers. But Saquon's Barkley, they should be over by the 8-minute mark in the third quarter. Like that's how this is gonna go.
You know who the quarterback was 3 years ago for the Carolina Panthers in this particular matchup?
Sam Darnold.
Sam Darnold. Yeah, Sam Darnold. He threw for 177 yards. He threw 3 Sam Darnold type interceptions. Can you guess who the leading rusher was for the Panthers?
McCaffrey.
It was not Chris McCaffrey. He was probably injured at this point. It was Chuba Hubbard, who had over 100 yards receiving. This must have been his rookie season, fresh out of Stanford, right? Or Oregon State?
Chuba Hubbard, Oklahoma State.
Oklahoma State, yes. Oklahoma State. Anyways, back to this year. Philadelphia Eagles are on a roll, and I think you can make the argument they're probably the most dynamic team in the NFC. When you talk about the pressure their defense, how good their defense is, and how loaded it is, especially with how good their secondary, especially those rookies have been. Philadelphia is probably the best team in the NFC right now. No disrespect to the Lions, but I think Philadelphia's better. And let me give the Eagles win this game. I'm not saying it's going to be like a Saquon Barkley done at halftime, but I think because Carolina, let's not play around. They've been really good the last 4 weeks, and Bryce Young has played like what you kind of thought he'd look like as being the first overall pick last season. He's looked pretty good after being benched for Andy Dalton. So kudos on him to stay focused, stay locked in. Christian.
Yeah, I'm with you. I like the Philadelphia Eagles. I just love everything that they're doing right now. Violent at the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball. Jalen Hurts taking care of the ball. You have a healthy A.J. Brown. You see what he does for the passing game. But you just mentioned Chuba Hubbard. I got to give a huge shout-out to Chris Berman. Chris Berman referred to him as the Chuba Missile Crisis. That's a bar, okay? Like that was fire. But I definitely like the Philadelphia Eagles. Philly Cheese Panthers on Sunday.
From there, we're going to swing into the AFC, and we're going to be swinging into the beast that is the AFC North. And we got the 3-9 Cleveland Browns, fresh out losing that sort of heartbreaking game to the Denver Broncos on Monday Night Football, going into Pittsburgh, taking on the 9-3 Steelers, fresh off beating the Cincinnati Bengals in that shootout Sunday afternoon. This is we're coming off 2 weeks ago. The Browns beat the Steelers at home in the snow. This is now in Heinz Field. I don't care what it's actually called. I'm taking the Steelers. I think that they get a little bit of revenge. They get a little bit of home cooking. And I think this game also probably won't be a blizzard in the middle of it. It's supposed to be 47 degrees, which I doubt will be a blizzard. Give me the Steelers. Christian.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm taking the Steelers. I think it's going to be different now for Pittsburgh. Cleveland, that's a tough place to play. And I knew they were going to be up and ready for that game the first time they played a couple of weeks ago on a Thursday night. But I think the Steelers have fixed their offense, their offensive issues. When they're in the red zone, they're capitalizing now, and I think that trend is going to continue on Sunday.
TJ.
Give me the Steelers. I just want to point something out. And that I think it was like 3rd and 2 or 4th and 2 in the game against the Bengals. They bring in Fields, and defenses should know that if Fields is in the game, it's likely a read option where he's keeping the ball. And the Bengals bid on the fake. They crashed down on Najee, and Fields just went right around them, converted the first down, game over. If you're Cleveland, you have to know that's coming. Just be smart. I don't think you're gonna win because and I understand Denver's defense is low key sneaky good, but if Jameis did what he did to the Broncos defense, Still turned the ball over though. Like that's the thing. Like if that defense took the ball away, the Steelers defense is definitely gonna take the ball away. And Russell Wilson's a better quarterback than Bo Nix. So yeah, give me Pittsburgh.
Moving on from there, we're going to swing into the late afternoon window. Oh, sorry, this is still the early afternoon window. We got the Las Vegas Raiders going down to the pirate ship and Raymond James Stadium and taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Last time these two teams played locked up 4 years ago, Tampa Bay got them big time, 45-20. And TJ's guy, Tom Brady, was 33 of 45 for 396 yards and 4 touchdowns as they cruised to the easy victory over the Las Vegas Raiders, who still had Derek Carr, actually, as their quarterback at the time. But how do you see this version shaking out, TJ?
Who is this again? Raiders, Bucks. Yeah. Come on, man. Come on, man.
Yeah, Tampa Bay has really revived their season with their last couple wins, the last couple weeks, along with the basic collapse of the Atlanta Falcons. I think Tampa Bay keeps it rolling. Yeah, I mean, Baker, this is a greedy Buccaneers team, and I hope they give Bucky Irving a billion touches in this game. Christian.
Next game.
To the late afternoon window and into a battle that may end up deciding who ends up winning the NFC West. We got the 7-5 Seattle Seahawks, fresh off beating the New York Jets, going into the big toaster and taking on the 6-6 Arizona Cardinals, who lost a heartbreaking game against the Minnesota Vikings on Sunday. Christian, how do you think this version shakes out, which could be for all the marbles in the NFC West?
I'm going to go Seattle on this one. I like what they're doing defensively. I love the adjustments they made in East Rutherford against the Jets. Mm-hmm. Game they had to grind out, and you put pressure on Kyler Murray. You force him to throw off that back foot. You have a chance as a defense to make that play. And Seattle is sneaky explosive. You have DK Metcalf. You have Jackson Smith and Jigba. There's Tyler Lockett, Noah Fant. But I think the guy that stirs the drink for this entire offense is Kenneth Walker III. And if they can get him going, I think good things will happen. That'll open up that passing game for Seattle. I just trust Geno a little bit more than I do Kyler Murray. I like Seattle in a close one.
TJ.
Which is exactly why I'm taking the Cardinals. And it pains me to do it because it's the Cardinals, and I just don't want to hear that one guy's mouth. You know who I'm talking about, Christian. Mm-hmm. But the straw that stirs the drink for Seattle, sometimes they forget he's the straw. Like, that makes sense. Like, they forget he's the damn straw. Like, Kenneth Walker he be forgotten about a lot with Seattle, and I don't get it. I just don't understand it. It doesn't make sense to me. So give me Arizona.
Yeah, I think this is one of those games where it's kind of a coin flip. Like, as we had both of our analysts, one of them picked Seattle, the other one picks Arizona. I guess it comes down to which quarterback do I trust more. And I guess the answer is still probably Geno Smith. I also still probably trust this offense for Seattle a little bit more, along with the defense for Seattle. Who at the beginning of the season, and I know we talked about this at length towards the beginning of the year, like, yeah, this defense wasn't really going up against gaudy offenses, but they were shutting people down, and I think that they're gonna be able to shut down Arizona, kind of how they did a couple weeks ago. Carl, as Arizona, that was a big loss, losing that game to Minnesota. He wanted to stay afloat. He wanted to keep things interesting. Now you're going to have to claw your way back into the division. I will take the Seattle Seahawks, but this is like as close to a coin flip as I can remember in a long time. From there, we're going to stay with one NFC West teams, but they are going to welcome the Buffalo Bills into beautiful SoFi Stadium. And the last time the Los Angeles Rams welcomed the Buffalo Bills into beautiful SoFi Stadium was the day they got their rings and hung their banner and then watched the Buffalo Bills hang up 31 points on them, including 21 unanswered points after halftime. Josh Allen, 297 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 2 picks. Matthew Stafford, 1 touchdown and 3 interceptions as Buffalo cruised to the opening night victory and put a stamp on their season, because this is fresh off losing that game to Kansas City with the 12 seconds. So how do you guys think this version shakes out? I will let TJ have the floor first.
You say Buffalo did what the first time? They whooped ass first time?
Yeah, 31-10 on ring night.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Christian.
He's so damn rude. I'm sorry, David. I apologize for myself. I like Buffalo in this one. I just think how they're rolling right now, got that reinforcement on defense in Matt Milano. And the Bills can't overlook the Rams. They got a huge game coming up next weekend in Detroit against the Lions. You don't want to overlook the Rams. I just don't think the Rams defense has enough to try to contain Josh Allen and those weapons on the perimeter. I'm talking Amari Cooper. Maybe we get Keon Coleman back. I know he's been out the last couple of days.
Maybe we get Dalton Kincaid back too.
Get Dalton Kincaid back. But I think this could be a James Cook game. And I think this defense is going to get after Matthew Stafford.
Yeah, for a lot of the same reasons that Christian just said. Yeah, I'm going to take the Buffalo Bills too. I think that they're on a mission this season. A lot of people talked about at the beginning of the year that Buffalo might be in some sort of rebuild. But as long as you have Josh Allen, there's no such thing as a rebuild, because Josh Allen is going to keep you competitive. He's probably going to be on his way to his MVP, first MVP of his career, as long as Saquon Barkley doesn't have anything to say about it. Give me Buffalo. But I agree with Christian that if you overlook the Rams, because they do have some explosive weapons on offense, and this defense for Buffalo can be had. We've seen them give up points. We've seen them give up yards. So it could be. This is going to be an interesting game. I'm looking forward to it. So from there, the final game of the late afternoon window, and two teams that desperately need a win to salvage any kind of life left in their season, especially on the San Francisco side, as the Chicago Bears go into Levi Stadium and take on the San Francisco 49ers. Last time these two teams played was 2 years ago. Chicago squeaked out the 19-10 victory. I do believe that this is the game where Trey Lance broke his ankle, and then Jimmy Garoppolo had to come back in and start the rest of that season for the San Francisco 49ers.
That's that season. That's that season, but not that game.
Oh, okay. Was this the rain game, right?
That was the rain game? Yeah, that was the rain game.
So the rain game for Chicago Bears as they squeak out the 19-10 victory. I'm going to take San Francisco. I know they got, Chris McCaffrey's down on IR, Jordan Mason's down on IR. It's just kind of a mess over there in San Francisco. But I still think that there's more talent on the San Francisco team than there is in Chicago, even with hopefully was a rejuvenated team with Matt Eberflus being out the door. But give me San Fran. Christian.
I'm with you, David. I like San Fran for all the reasons you just listed. This is a must-win for them, but I am anxious to see how the Bears are going to come out with this new interim head coach.
TJ.
Give me the Bears. I just think, like you said, I think it's too much of a mess for San Fran right now, and I understand that you still got Debo, you still got Juwan Jennings, you still got Kittle. But
Juwan Jennings got banged up in that game too. I don't know what his status is going to be.
But no Trent. I mean, you already know why Trent Williams isn't playing. No Trent, no McCaffrey, no Jordan. What's that kid's name?
Jordan Mason.
Jordan Mason. You're asking Brock Purdy to be
not to mention Kadarius Ward, their starting safety.
Ward,
yeah. I mean, he literally just returned from losing his first 1-year-old daughter. I think he played. He literally just came back on that game.
He lost the kid
Sunday
too.
Night.
And I just think the Niners have too much going on right now to focus on football. So give me the Bears. I think it's still gonna be close though.
From there, we're going to swing into Sunday night football, and we're going to find out what these Los Angeles Chargers are really made of as they roll into Arrowhead and take on the Patrick Mahomes-led Kansas City Chiefs. Kansas City Chiefs lead the all-time series between these two teams 70, 58, and 1. So who goes to 71, or does somebody go to 59, or do we have a second tie in this series? DJ.
That would be hilarious if they.
It would be pretty funny.
That would be. Give me the. I want as much as I want the. I want the Chargers to win so bad. I really do. Fuck it, give me the Chargers.
TJ's over there picking with his. He's picking with his heart. He's not picking with his head. The Kansas City Chiefs are winning this game. The Chargers cannot beat them. Like no matter what the Chargers do, they play them tough every single time. And every single time these two teams play, they end up leaving Patrick Mahomes with like 1 minute left on the clock, where he just goes down and he just scores the game-winning touchdown or gets the game-winning field goal without fail. Every time these two teams play, it's not going to be any different here. Give them Kansas City. I do think the Chargers will play them tough because they just play them tough every single time, but it will always come up short. At least it has the last 5 years that Patrick Mahomes has been the starting quarterback in Kansas City. Christian.
David.
Oh, let's go, baby.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Knock out. 1, 2, 3.
Shameless plug number 3. Two. Sorry.
Yeah. The Chiefs' last 3 wins have been by a combined 7 points. That's 2 to Denver, 3 to the Panthers, and 2 to the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, listen, I'm not writing them off per se, but they've just been great at being survivors this year. They have not played what we call great football. The record hasn't been reflective upon their efforts. The Chargers, that's a huge win for them on Sunday in Atlanta to be a West Coast team, fly across the country, play in a 1 o'clock window, and the defense got back to the basics. They put pressure on Kirk Cousins, and they intercepted him 4 times. To me, normally when these two play, it's always a shootout, but I think this is going to be a dogfight. I could see between 20 to 23 points determining the outcome of this football game. I think it's going to come down to who can establish the run and who can stop the other team's run more consistently. And if you're the Chargers, you got to pressure Mahomes up the middle, have a spy on him, and allow those edge rushers to come and contain him in the pocket. Don't let him outside the pocket. Force him to beat you, throwing over the numbers or over the middle. Don't let him throw on the run, because that's when I feel he's at his best. And if you're going to play man coverage against him, you better have the guys to get home on him. I preview this one tomorrow. Be on the lookout.
So the Chargers have dropped the last 6 matchups against the Kansas City Chiefs going back to 2021. They've lost the last 2 matchups between these two teams by a combined total of 8 points. So... and they have, outside of the blowout in 2023, last season, the first matchup they had last season, they got beat by 14 points. They've got beaten by 3 points, and then they lost to a touchdown in walk-off style in overtime. So, like they just can't. Kansas City's got the Chargers number. I just don't think that's going to change.
I've said it since they drafted him, and pretty much since he fell into their lap. You drafted Justin Herbert specifically for this matchup, so he can go toe to toe against Pat Mahomes. Like, that's why you drafted Justin Herbert.
From their Monday Night Football and what seemed like a really good matchup on paper when the schedule operators put this together, is not chalking up to be what we thought it was going to be. But actually, so 2 years ago when these two teams played, obviously the Cincinnati Bengals and the Dallas Cowboys are the teams that I'm talking about. Dallas Cowboys won that game 20-17, and conveniently enough, the quarterback matchup in that game 2 years ago will be the same as it was on Monday night, or will be on Monday night, with Cooper Rush going for the Dallas Cowboys, going up against Joe Burrow. This is in Jerry World. Cowboys finally got their first win of the season in Jerry World a couple weeks ago. How do you think this is going to shake out for? Actually, it was against the Giants. I guess they have 2 wins there now. Christian.
Give me the Bengals.
Yeah, I don't. I don't know, man. This Cincinnati Bengals defense is like borderline historically bad. Like I don't know what like how the fell off happened as the way it happened. I cannot pick Cincinnati. I do think Joe Burrow is going to have
Wow.
300 yards passing and 5 touchdowns and whatever else, but they're going to lose. Like they're going to lose. Joe Burrow is going to have 35 points hanging out for the Cincinnati Bengals, and they're going to lose. Give me Dallas. I can't pick Cincinnati. I just can't. And Dallas is just kind of saving their season week by week. They're thickly right back in the hold for the wild card spot to give all of you Dallas Cowboy fans just a tiny little bit of hope before he gets crushed at the end of the year.
He said, "I can't do it." He said, "I can't do it." He said, "I can't do it." I don't necessarily say I can blame you for that.
I mean, this Bengals defense
it's historically cheap franchises do what historically cheap franchises do, and then they wonder why it's like, damn, why are we still struggling? Because you don't pay the guys that make you good. You let them walk. You try to be. You think you can get 3 guys to do the work of 1 guy, and you wonder why it doesn't work. David, you having just a little bit too much faith in Cooper Rush, man.
They're giving up 28.3 points per game, which is actually tied with 3 other teams in the NFL right now, including the Dallas Cowboys.
Including the Dallas. So like it's really just a matter of
I'm changing my mind. I'm taking Cincinnati. I'm sorry. I'm changing my mind. Dallas,
it's just it's really a conversation like whose defense do you
whoever gets to 40 points wins first off. It's probably gonna win the game.
I wouldn't even say 40. I say whoever gets like you said 28. Whoever gets to 28 first probably gonna win this motherfucker, bro. Yeah, give me the Bengals. I'm expecting a big game out of T. Higgins because I think you put so like also they it's a different game. It was last night. They were like, why wasn't Pat Surtain guarding Jerry Judy? Yeah, traveling with Jerry.
He did a little bit in the fourth quarter, but
by that point the damage is fucking done.
I mean, they were letting Levi Wallace just get cooked out there, man. He was just letting him absolutely he was getting beat so bad. They brought out a guy that was on their practice squad, like, and it felt like, hey, you just figure it out.
Just figure it out. I say that to say this. I 100% expect to see Trevon Diggs and Jamar Chase. I'm expecting. Remember they used to highlight those receiver DB battles like that.
Yeah.
Like, it just.
I think Deron Bland is probably, if he's not back, I think he's back now. If he's back already, like that's also like a tough axe in like whatever game back.
I
think he played against the Giants, but don't quote me on that.
All right, you're going from once again you're going from the Giants. If you play, you're going from the receiving core in the Giants to, hey, you just have to face one of, if not the best 1-2 punch at receiver. Like you got to guard T. Higgins, and this is like I said, if you're back.
Yeah, so this will be his 3rd game.
Yeah, this is your 3rd game back. Who did they play in the first 2? They play. You just said the Giants.
The Giants, and then they played. I don't. Hold on. Hold on. Atlanta? No, it wasn't Atlanta.
It wasn't Atlanta. I think he was.
The Commanders.
All right, so you weren't playing. You weren't guarding McLaurin, so you go from guarding whoever the number 2 or 3 is in Washington.
Well, I mean, Terry McLaurin did not have a good game in that matchup. Like I think he only had. Or wait, I lied. Yes, he did. He had that crazy touchdown. Yeah, I'm thinking of the week before. I'm sorry.
So I ain't gonna say he's gonna go 9 for 235, but hey, I'm fully expecting. Give me T. Higgins on Deron Bland, his third game back on Monday night. Give me T. Higgins 135 and a touchdown for T. Higgins.
I'm also very interested to see what this Simpsons version of this looks like, because I do really enjoy like when they do this animation stuff. I think it's just the talent that it takes to put something like that together is just wild. But yeah, but that's been Monday Night Football. That's been our week. I didn't update these graphics. I hate when I do stuff like this. I know nobody else cares, but I do. All right. That's been our Week 13 Monday Night Football recap and a Week 14 preview and predictions. We also gave out our game balls. So please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast as we are live on Facebook, YouTube, and on your Roku devices on the Huddle Sports Network. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm, of course, your host, David On Point Huffman. Right there is my co-host, Mr. TJ Hopkins. And from the Daily Blitz.blog, Mr. Christian Simpson. And gentlemen, what do we do here at the Prime, my friends?
Go on vacation.
Oh,
we bring the heat, baby. 21 degrees here in Fort Wayne. Woo!
We need it. We
need the heat, baby. We'll be back here tomorrow with Fantasy Football Weekly. You don't want to miss any of that content. And we're going to end the show the way we end every single show with a message from our sponsor here at the Huddle Sports Network. So enjoy this video. We will see you guys tomorrow. You guys all have a good night and stay safe out there. Gentlemen, have a good night.
Yep.
To the Huddle Sports Network, where we're breaking boundaries and redefining podcasting. Broadcasting live on 6 different platforms, we're bringing you the latest in sports like never before. Imagine tuning into real-time discussions, expert analyses, and fan interactions all at your fingertips. Each platform offers a unique experience, whether you're on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitch. We're not just sharing stories, we're creating a community of passionate sports enthusiasts. Join us as we dive deep into the evolution of podcasting, where every episode is a chance to engage, debate, and celebrate the world of sports. This is where your voice matters and the game never stops. Welcome to the Huddle Sports Network, where we're breaking boundaries and redefining podcasting. Broadcasting live on 6 different platforms, we're bringing you the latest in sports like never before, where sports passion meets podcasting brilliance. I'm Mike, the Bear fan, and alongside Bill, the Packer fan, and our buddy Ken Catalone, we're bringing you an incredible lineup of 38 diverse podcasters. Each one brings their unique flavor to the table, covering everything from game analysis to behind-the-scenes stories. Imagine diving deep into the minds of experts who live and breathe football, sharing